Otep, Black Power, your brother Shaka saying Kofa here. Giving honor to the creator and the ancestors. Giving honor to always to my sister, who's in her essence, and my and brother, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul of the Street Law Soldiers, who's in his essence as well. Today I want to talk about the missing black teens in D.C. This is an issue that has now blown up in the faces of the black community. You know, something that has been going on for quite some time. Now it has blew up in the face of the black community. You know, so many primarily black girls, black teenage girls, primarily. You know, there's some cases where it's been some young boys as well. So the purpose of what's the purpose of? We're gonna talk about the purpose of taking these teens. Who's taking them? Why are they taking them? You know, what are they taking from them? And who is behind all of this? And how do we get them back? If we do, or if we can. The purpose of taking these teens, and this is not nothing that I've made up. This is not a homemade theory or anything. This is just based on my personal research and facts. The purpose of taking these teens are for sex slaves, pornography rings, sex slaves, and most of all, organ stealing, organ harvesting is what the main thing that these Europeans, Caucasians are really engulfed themselves in, because they'll never sleep. The devil is never sleep. And every time that you think that everything is okay, that we overcome one obstacle, he has 3 or 4 awaiting in the midst for us to overcome. You know, for those who are conscious, those who realize. You know, I don't expect any of you coons to even be able to fathom this, because for those who think this white man is fucking God, you know, that he does no wrong and he's not a fucking devil. Who's taking the teens? The CDC, primarily. They've been doing this shit. If you ever read any advertisements in newspapers where they advertise about people who smoke between the ages of 16 and 35, and do you take drugs, and are you a diabetic, and all of these particular ailments that they are asking if you qualify, if you are under any of those ailments, contact this number, and you know, and you can go to this hospital or for 30 days and receive a couple of $1,000s for research and all this bullshit. And they've been doing that. A lot of those people never came back. They heavily sedate these people, put them in comatose these people, take their organs, take their brains. The males take the phallus, the penis, the heart, the liver. They even take the kneecap bones. Sometimes even they deskeletize a lot of these people, a lot of these brothers and sisters. And the CDC does that. Harvest organs. How you think David Rockefeller, that white goddamn devil, was able to have 6 heart transplants, 4 melanated hearts that he was walking around with, 4 melanated hearts, you know, whereas though some people wait all their lives just to make it, just to get on the donors list, you know, That's why you had the movie John Q was based on that with Denzel Washington. So, where are they taking them? These FEMA, you have all these FEMA concentration camps. The closest one to D.C. is Fort Meade, Fort Detrick. Fort Detrick, for those who are conscious and are aware, Fort Meade was where the AIDS virus was created. Fort Detrick, outside of Frederick, Maryland, was where the AIDS virus was created. And they take them to these FEMA detention camps, and they hold them there while they, take their organs from them. If they're fortunate, they may take them to a pedophile ring, and because most of the major pedophile rings are over in London and France. That's why you have the Buckingham Palace is full of pedophiles, and they take them to these pedophile rings over there and these sex trafficking organizations. And that's how they're able to make all these pornography movies. And then when they're finished with them, more than likely, they murder them and then they harvest their organs. Like I said, they're taking everything, everything from them. Even what, they take everything down to the skeletal remains. Primarily within a 24-hour period, when a person is in the hospital, they begin the process of taking their organs, taking all their organs out. And some cases, they have had brothers and sisters have had loved ones in their caskets with no skeleton. The skeleton was replaced with plastic pipe that goes into a sink that plastic elbow pipes and shit like that to replace the skeletal frame of the deceased. And this is how diabolical and how devilish this motherfucking cracker is. And who is behind all of this? The government, the CDC, FEMA, Homeland Security, CIA, FBI, local police, NIH. NIH is National Institute of Health, which is in Bethesda, Maryland, and is where they do so many experiments. John Hopkins as well in Baltimore, the University of Maryland, where they conduct all these experiments. Even in some of the Ivy League colleges, where they conduct these medical experiments and take human bodies, which they call, I forgot the name of what they call them, but they take them there and they allow students to practice, being a medical examiner, using human beings as practice. Carnivores or whatever they call the human remains of someone's family member. It's being used as a practice dummy, for one of these motherfucking white students, to become a medical examiner or a surgeon or something in the medical field, which is some sick shit, How do we get them back? I'll give you an example. This was in 2004, 2005. I was with one of my brothers, and we were giving out food to the homeless downtown. And so I saw these trucks, these vans, and they were picking people up. A couple of people looked like they were, being picked up against their will. But, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I took it as it was some type of van picking up homeless people, taking them to shelter, or to a warm building or something of that nature due to the fact that it was wintertime. However, when the street law soldiers the following year came out and gave out food, I saw those same vehicles, those same vans riding around looking for people that were isolated at nighttime. People that were in crowds, they wouldn't bother, but the people that were in, that they were catching isolated people, that were by themselves walking up and down downtown Washington D.C. and they were picking those people up. And I think they run a game on them. Some of them they just snatch, gag, inject a sedative to them. They wake up, they're strapped down, and NIH or one of these FEMA detention camps, about to be dissected. Chanel Dickinson, who was the police commander and in charge of the youth division in D.C., they had a forum a couple of nights ago, with the mayor, Muriel Bowser, and the police chief, Newsham, whatever his name is, some devil. And you know how they have these forums, the community forums, and they allow the people to vent what they're feeling and just to see if they're catching on to what's really going on. And those who are outrightly spoken, that know what they're talking about, that have done their research and know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, those are the people that are targeted. Those are the people that, they get a rundown on their life history and the information or whatever, anything they can get on them, to press them out, just to shut them up. But the masses of the people really don't know. They're functioning off emotion, pure emotion, that have loved ones missing and whatever. And see, these authorities, these motherfuckers know exactly what's taking place. There's no way you can run a city and not know what goes on in your city. And more than likely they are a part of it. If they're not a part of it, they're not allowed to speak on it because they do know of it. They do know about it if they're not involved. And as in always, black people are afraid to speak. Black people are afraid to speak on anything. For example, the police, these white racist pigs who kill unarmed black men. Our people continue to think that we should pray that the motherfucking devil will have a change of heart. And it's not going to happen. No matter how much you protest, no matter how much you march, it will not change anything. It will not change anything. The only thing that will make changes is violence, eye for a motherfucking eye. If you had 300 organized, trained black snipers and they were aimed at taking out all high-level government officials, this shit was stopped yesterday. Because the only way you stop a bully, you have to bully the fucking bully. As long as you trying to talk sense into a bully, you'll still be trying to talk while he's beating your fucking head in. But the way you get a bully up off of you and put an end to the bullying shit is you bully the fucking bully. And the only way police brutality, this child snatching, and all this shit will stop is we have to start eliminating the motherfuckers that are involved. And you start at the bottom and work your way up till you get to the ring motherfucking leaders and off with their motherfucking heads. You see, a lot of you that are trained to believe that you can pray your way through this bullshit, and hope and pray because your grandmama prayed and she prayed and pray. Let's pray the Lord. Let's pray the Lord prayer. Come on. Let's pray the Lord prayer. God, God gonna help you. You know, that shit is old. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. And I'm quoting the great, and I'm just paraphrasing the great ancestor, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He stated, when caskets start rolling in the white community like they roll in the black community, all this shit will change. And it will never change as long as the police know that they can kill a black man and no consequences involved. No consequences involved. There'll be marches, there'll be protests, you know, and all that bullshit. That we shall overcome shit. Let's pray and all that bullshit. And then they'll have, you know, all these rallies and, you know, with motherfucking concerts and all that shit. You know, but nothing will change. As long as these pigs know they can shoot a black man down and there's no consequences, they're going to continue to do it because you know, nothing is going to happen. When you have the judicial system backing you up, you have the white community, you have white jurors supporting you. You know, I'm talking about brothers that had their hands up, you know, laying down with their hands up, still being murdered. All that shit doesn't matter. And then what they do, you get the support of the coons. They go to the coons first. Charles Barkley, you know, Ben Carson, Steve Harvey. They go to the coons first. Because they know the coons going to take the side with the devil. You know. And after they get the support from them, you know, to convince us to, you know, to keep it calm, that if you do act out, that you are out of order. Although we have murdered your son, you know, but if you respond like we respond, then you're out of order. You know, just like the brother in Texas. He was by himself, but if he had 200 other brothers just like him with the same mentality, you know, ready to die for what they stand on and defend the race, this shit would be over with. Every time they know they kill one of us, that three of them are going to be murdered, the shit will stop. Just like this, you know, snatching these babies, you know, taking their organs from them, taking their melanin. Melanin is $353 a gram. So for a 200-pound person, melanin, you know, the price of melanin in that 200-pound plus person will be about $36 million. And they get, for each set of organs, they get anywhere from I think it's, let me check my notes. Anywhere from 6,000 on the low end to $250,000 per person, just for the organs. That's not including the melanin. They get millions of dollars for each melanated person. You know, and by no response, you know, no response is taken. Just like the children are missing. If you talk to any of the parents, all the parents are doing, the majority of them are staying home waiting on the authorities to inform them that their child has been found, instead of forming a search party themselves and investigating and interrogating everyone involved, every official involved, going and looking over the notes of everybody that's in charge of that investigation, to ensure that they're doing their job, to ensure that they're not working with the motherfucking enemy. But our people don't do that because we've been taught to just go home and pray and let the law prevail. When has the law prevailed for us? Name one time when the law has prevailed for us. Never. Never. And it never will. Until we make it prevail. Till we create our own law. Till we create our own search parties. Until we create our own force, sniper force. Till we create our own military regime, which we do have. We just have to have somebody with the nerve and the fucking balls to stand up and lead these people. I'm always willing to lead my people. That's why, I created the Street Law Soldiers to create a military, militant based regime of young and older brothers and sisters to take control of the black community in all areas, in all affairs. Not just a military just to fight, to train our people to be counselors, to train our people, in the medical field, in the nutritional field, in the educational field, in the historical field. Because to be conscious, you have to be well versed, you have to be well rounded in an array of areas. You can't just say that you're conscious just because you have a pistol. Because it's a spot for you too. It's a spot for you. And we have to have people in all areas. Well, everyone has a military except the black community. We're the only defenseless race on the planet. The only defenseless race on the planet. Because we are afraid. No one has the balls when they have the platform, a media platform where the entire nation can hear them speak and say that Caucasian control, as long as Caucasians are controlling the black community, there will be killings. Caucasian white police will continue killing as long as they have control and power over the black community. I haven't heard now one person stand up and say that since the days of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad and others before him and his predecessors. And now, the revolutionaries now have become so commercialized, where they're more concerned into getting paid than to creating a race of people that are conscious. Everyone wants to be the leader. Everyone wants to be in charge. No one wants to stand in line and be an active participant in the liberation and salvation of our people. Everybody wants to be the one in front. But the one in front does not want to be the one that loses his life, because that's what it's going to cost. Everyone wants to be a Dr. King. You want the love that Dr. King had. You want the love that Malcolm had. You want the support that Garvey had. But you're not willing to do what they done. You're not willing to sacrifice your life for them because you want to get paid. You want a Helly Hansen liberation. You want a Tom Ford liberation. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Liberation means sacrifice. Freedom means sacrifice. Freedom means denial. Harriet Tubman, when she said she freed thousands of slaves, but she would have freed thousands more if they only knew that they were slaves. But you never heard about her wearing any type of designer outfits. She kept her tobacco in her mouth. She kept her 2 pistols and her fruit, and she led her people to freedom. But see, we want a million hits before we make one move. We want to be paid. We want to be praised and cherished without putting in any fucking work. No fucking work at all. All mouth and no fucking substance. And that's why, we do the Street Law Soldiers. We do the best that we can do. We get out here and we feed and give what we can We don't have it like that. We don't have a whole bunch of contributions and donations. We take what we can get and we give it to the community. The little donations that we do get, with the including the donations that we give ourselves and the monetary contributions that we put up ourselves to ensure that our brothers and sisters are fed. That they're not freezing to death outside. Because nobody wants to hear about liberation and black power or none of that shit when their stomach is touching their back. Nobody wants to stand and listen to a lecture when they don't have a coat on or they got busted shoes on. Nobody wants to hear that. But you will catch their attention, if you can provide something for them. You can earn a little bit of faith from them if you can provide them with something. But my energy, my heart goes out to these sisters and brothers that's been picked up on the streets of Washington, D.C. And who knows what they may be going through or where they may be at, whether they're still alive, because there's no telling. And then all of a sudden, the movie Get Out comes out with these children being taken. None of this shit is no accident. None of this shit is a coincidence. And it all boils down. A lot of you parents have to get up off your fucking asses and monitor your fucking children. Monitor your children. A lot of y'all in D.C. I live in D.C. You let your babies and shit, 4 and 5 years old. I see them walking across the highway by themselves, walking up and down the street. 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Eating a bag of hot fries, drinking an Arizona tea. A lot of them are even engaging in the smoking this K shit. Leaving, allowing your sons to become your fucking husbands. Instead of being a parent, you're more concerned with being a friend. You're smoking weed with your child, with your fucking baby. You're getting high with your child. Because you want him to feel comfortable, in the death, and his slow death. Because he's heading towards the penitentiary or the cemetery. And all you're doing is contributing to that. Then when he's murdered, you want to blame everybody but yourself. My baby never done this to nobody. Oh, my baby this, my baby this. And you contributed to the negative behavior that sent him to an early fucking grave. When you could have just been a fucking parent and helped him to become a doctor or a lawyer. But you want to be his friend because you're dealing with substance abuse and you're too fucking trifling. You're too goddamn lazy and too fucking trifling to keep that part of your life away from your fucking baby. Or you're too much of a coward to fucking clean your goddamn act up and be a motherfucking parent. So you want to blame the city for this shit. Because see, it's that doesn't excuse what these crackers are doing. But I'm gonna cover all the motherfucking bases. It's some shit. Some of these children would never have been abducted if some of you motherfucking parents was on your goddamn job. They would never been in a position to get snatched. But nevertheless, we got to look at the motherfucking devil who's doing this. It's going to take a community effort. When you see these crackers, because that's what they do, when they walk them down the street and they see these children unattended and they stop and they offer them shit. Hi, what's your name? Oh, Jamal, You want some hot fries? Come on, walk to the store. Oh no, I have him. He's okay. And they demelanating his motherfucking ass. They're watching his motherfucking pattern as how long he's alone and isolated and fattening him up for the kill. And we got to start accepting responsibility. Just like when the police, pull these brothers and sisters over. A lot of y'all niggas keep going because it's not you. But then when it is you, you want everybody to stop and film your motherfucking process. But you don't want to participate. See, that's what I call trifling minded bullshit. It's the same way as when we lose somebody. Whether, it doesn't matter how we lose them. The loss of a loved one is the loss of a loved one. We want everybody to have compassion for our situation and have sympathy and be sympathetic with our loss. But when other people lose theirs, we just look at it as another nigga till it happens to you. So it's a lot of things that we have to clean up within ourselves. Because we're so used to being pacified and being told the things that we want to hear besides the things that we need to hear. When you see these crackers pulling up from the CDC, these vans, abducting these people, do whatever it takes. Even if you got to fire down and kill everybody in the goddamn van, to save that baby. Because they probably are going through pure fucking torture and hell. Imagine yourself being abducted. Being raped, being sodomized, and then being murdered, put to sleep, and having your organs taken out of your body, and then just thrown away. Who knows what these children are going through tonight. But this city should not be resting knowing that this type of shit is going on in this motherfucking city. Because you more worried about changing the Klansmen, changing Trump. And see, they've been doing this forever. They'll throw something out and get your focus on while they do something else. They've always done this. It's time for our people to wake up and start understanding their importance. There are 64,000 black women currently missing in the U.S. right now. 64,000. You have 30 black women who have died in police custody alone this year. You haven't heard nothing about none of this. Because what that tells you, the media is involved in this shit too. Everybody has a hand in this. Because the only way they can live a longevity, they have to have the original DNA from the original people who brought them here. Like I always tell y'all, the black woman gave everybody permission to exist. It wouldn't even be no other colors if it wasn't for the black woman. So that's why they take, the black melanin. They take the melanin and they take the organs out of our brothers and sisters, so they can have life. Look at the movie Get Out. When that blind cracker, wanted that brother's eyes. And he explained to him that his eyes had melanin in them. That he would be able to see to almost on a supernatural level. Because melanin is a supernatural power. Melanin is a supernatural energy. And then you got niggas that are going to overseas, getting their motherfucking corneas getting their eye corneas and all this shit and their pupils dissected and replaced with fucking blue, a lifeless motherfucking color. Blue eyes, all that blue eyes means that it doesn't have any melanin in it. It's a non-recessive gene in the eye. That's why when they're in the laboratories, they always use white mice, albino, non-melanated rats. Because a melanated rat, they can't get nothing, the melanated rat is complete. And that's why you don't see any white rats running in the streets, in the alleys, because they cannot survive. The melanated rats are the only ones that can survive that shit. Swim in water, swamps, and all that shit. You don't see any albino rats doing that shit. And it's the same way with us. Like I said, we don't want to do any research. All we want to do is talk a good motherfucking game. And then you got brothers that have been accused of so-called leaders, supposed to be conscious motherfuckers, accused of beating up little babies and shit like that. And I'm not even gonna go into that, because we got more important things to deal with, such as this goddamn devil, and this motherfucking police brutality and this white supremacy, this racism, this system of racism, white supremacy that we are that's engulfing us and taking us down. But I can tell you this, although it may not appear like it, this shit is gonna come to a halt one day. One day. Let's just not hope that it's too late. Black Power.